because our scars reminds us of our history, and there is purpose for every pain that we go through in life. You're welcome to share my pain with VEE. Today with me in the house, I have a very wonderful and amazing person in person of Mr. Arthur Judah Angel. Is the founder of a LifeWire Foundation, and it's nice to have him on Share My Pain today. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Victoria.
You're welcome, sir. How has it been now? How has everything been,
Wonderful,
sir?
everything is good.
All right, sir. So we'd like to know some things about you, like maybe your background, growing up.
My background growing up, my name is Arthur Judah Angel, otherwise born Arthur Judah Ehaza. And two parents that were not very popular, but I grew up like a very other normal kid. From parents that were separated when I was small, but I had dreams that kept me going until where I am today. Today, I'm a life coach, I'm a published author, I'm an artist, you understand, and a public speaker.
You said you grew up from parents that separated when you were still very young.
Yeah.
So that must have been a very tough one.
Very, 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 very.
Can you tell us some of the encounters you had while growing up from that kind of childhood?
The fact of the matter was that before I was old enough to actually point at my father and mother and identify them, they separated. And because my father was a traveling engineer, I had to go back to my mother's family compound, where I began to mix up with people that I don't really belong to. And you discover that it's not easy growing up in such a background. Yeah, but somehow, at the age of 7, I could remember vividly, I had a dream that kept me moving. But when I woke up from that very dream, I divulged the dream to my mother, who never believed that her son would become somebody great one day. We became enemies, but my dream kept me. And I don't think time will actually allow me to go into details, but that was my childhood days.
The days.
Yeah.
So you are the founder of LifeWire Foundation.
LifeWire International Foundation.
LifeWire International Foundation. Something must have led to LifeWire International Foundation. So what were the basic things that led to you like having such an organization?
I think we've actually run beyond my gun, the bullet. When I was 21, I was already a visual artist earning small money. I started singing when I was small, even singing in clubs, painting, and kind of acting as well. Because I had a demo to myself, I have a few magazines to myself wrote, edited, directed, and then it was as if I was about to go airborne. At the age of 21, I was at the police station at the time to visit somebody I knew, elder to me actually. I verbally challenged that very news, and then I was beaten blue black, thrown into jail, and then that led to my spending 16 calendar years in prison.
Can I hear that again?
Yeah, that led to my spending 16 calendar years in prison.
16 years.
16, 1 6, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4 to 16. The first 2 years was like hell. But in that first 2 years in prison, I saw to it that I wasn't the only person on that very pedestal. A lot of people were picked up by the police, and before you name it, were framed up, and they were many died. In fact, I won't have enough time to explain, and it's happening in the country today. And as if the devil was having a field day until Babangida's regime, and I was sentenced to death. For an offense I never committed. I never knew whether it was even committed or where it was committed. And otherwise, how come, even when it was too evident that nothing happened, The police was bent on actually seeing that they did me in. They said I killed a policeman. I never knew whether a policeman died. Okay, that was, how could somebody like me have killed one person facing such a charge, bagging such a sentence? And that led yet to another 9 years and 6 months on death row as a condemned criminal, where I witnessed the death of at least 450, I can still remember their names.
In the prison,
450 in any good prison death row cells, to be precise. 450 that I can still remember their names. If you read my book, all the names mentioned there are real names. No imagination. There's nothing like no. And it didn't take me time to realize that most of these people I saw dying on weekly, daily, monthly basis, some of them were more innocent than me. So I was just living there by God's grace. I knew I wasn't just set free to be free for myself. I knew I was set free by God to stand in the gap for those people that were still there. That informed the birth of Life Wire International Foundation.
So those 16 years in prison, how did you manage to survive 16 years in prison?
A time will come in the life of a man when you know that you are just on your own, and that the only thing left in you and for you was your mind. You understand? Because it was actually in prison I got to know that stroke is never an old age sickness. I met with young people like me in prison who suffered stroke. They will think and think, lost hope, and before you know it, they begin to vegetate. Till they become just living bananas. Before you know it, they are gone. You understand? So somehow, initially, what came to me, because as an artist, I started drawing, like I said earlier, before I entered prison. But in prison, I wanted to relieve or to offload what was on the inside of me, but there was no way I can get paper or pen. Those things were contraband in prison. So initially, I used to sell my ration food and buy novels. It was Harley Chase initially. There's no Harley Chase I've not read, unless the one that was written yesterday. Lam Flemings, Robert Ludlum. In fact, that was actually where I had my education. You understand? The only thing school or education teaches you is reading. So I read myself to wherever and where I am today. Come to talk about it, when it serves as if those fictitious books were not serving its purpose, I turned to religion. I became a Muslim. I was in the Hare Krishna. I was in the Brotherhood of the Cross and Star. Until finally I became a Christian. And I think I've read versions of the Bible more than most pastors today. To the time that my fellow inmates began to call me Walking Bible. Because there's nothing that will come up that I don't have a Bible verse to actually paint a picture with it. So, but we discovered that time came when God visited me. I want to tell you something. It might not be part of why we're here today. If you'll ever see God with your mind in truth, He will appear to you. God, the Spirit told me that I can draw my way out of this place. But no pen, no paper. I asked for charcoal from the prison kitchen. But even with charcoal, no canvas, no board, I started drawing in prison on the walls of my prison cells. The warders fell in love with my work, and that was how they began to bring in materials for me to draw for them. That was actually, it became the only thing I can fall back to. I began to find pleasure in what I was doing. But the relief of my mind was that at least, even in that kind of condition, and my generation was beginning to find pleasure in what my hand can do. And I read the book of common sense in the Bible. You might not know it, the book of Proverbs. That's the book of common sense. After reading it several times, I discovered that a man's work makes way for him. Until one day I saw in a place, seeth he this man that is diligent in his work, he will stand before kings. I became diligent in what I was doing. I filled all the 4 prisons I was transferred to with my works, to the extent that the prisons couldn't contain those works. Others were taking my works outside to sell, make money to feed their family. They were not giving me anything, but I was allowed the privileges that others couldn't even buy with money. It was actually God. He was the director, Catholic Institute for Development, Justice and Peace. And that my work that he bought from the water, he didn't use it. He gave it to somebody again who was important then, Dr. Harrison, a Briton, who was the director of British Council. That was how the search for me began. See, God works in mysterious ways. And by the time they discovered me in prison, when Abacha was now head of state and the execution was rampant, and it could have been my turn. So in their mission to salvage lives, they met me. And it became my work that brought them into the prison. They packaged an exhibition for me. Somebody who never saw College of Art and Science, who never saw the 4 walls of the university, I saw myself exhibiting at the British Council. And it was a world-class exhibition. The British Council director then made it a point to bring in London Sun, CNN came, civil society group, everybody. That time it wasn't even Amnesty International, it was Human Rights International. And after that exhibition, I became a popular person, even in prison. The prison could not hide me again. And you see, at a time when it was evident that my name has gone beyond the corners called Nigeria, I don't know what happened, entered the devil's mind. The governor had it on him, I don't know what happened, but he signed my execution. So I would have been executed. But God intervened, came directly, spared me.
He signed your execution?
Yes, my execution was signed. On 2nd of August 1994, I was given my last meal. Last prayer was done on me. In fact, everything that would have led somebody to the gallows or execution. That same day that I would have been executed, 38 were executed in Enugu prison. And I would have made the number 39.
So what
but at the end of the day, the warders that were supposed to come and hand me over came back to tell me that they can't find my name in the execution list again. The number 29, where my name was supposed to be, they said they found it to be blank. So it was just God. So after this time, a lot of things, unimaginable things began to happen. Interest groups began to come. It was actually one person, Engineer CC, who took it upon himself to say, instead of this guy dying in prison, after seeing my works, every Tuesday and Thursday, he will mobilize people and they will go to the government house. Save Ato campaign was bet. And when the governor, Colonel Mike, had discovered that the person he would have killed, he ordered it, was still alive, fear came upon him. God can put your fear upon the people that planned it for you. He gave me a conditional pardon, which wasn't effective until 5 years after. But these 5 years were years that God used to actually prepare me for what I'm doing today. Because by this time, my relationship with God was strengthened already. That day I would have been executed was actually the meeting point between for me and God. Because I proved God that day. I told him, God, you can see what I'm passing through. You have seen your word. The Bible says you're the same yesterday, today, and forever. And I so believed in you. I began to remind him all the promises, all the good things he did in the Bible. I said, look, if you are God and you can do this and you say you're the same yesterday, today, and forever, then you have something to do in my life today.
So all through the 16 years in prison, were family members coming around? Were people coming around to visit?
I used to have numerous friends before I entered prison because I used to make money when I was small. I was selling my works. In those days, the highest currency, denomination in Nigerian currency was 20 naira. In those days, when I was in secondary school, at the time in Port Harcourt, 20 naira was my boarding fee for a whole term. But even in those days, I was having 500 naira in my pocket at the time. So you can see I was already big. So, and money brings people around you, whether you like it or not. But my mother was always there. My sister, and my immediate younger brother. These were the 3 guys that were with me. Until throughout that very 16 years, I was transferred from Onitsha prison to Enugu prison, they were there. From Enugu prison to Umuahia prison, they were still coming. From Umuahia to Uyo, they were still coming. So most especially my mother family. I can remember the day my mother has to walk the 3 kilometer away from home to the prison to see me because she hasn't got money to come, but she has to walk it. And she came and explained that fact to me. I was happy. You understand? Yeah, so, and that was why by the time I knew it that God was in control of my matter in prison, I wasn't thinking of prison again. I began to think of what I would do outside prison. And that's what I'm doing today.
So, how did your release happen after the whole thing? How did your release happen from the prison?
First, it was 2 release. Now, you might not understand it. When you are sentenced to death, you understand, it's not just another kind of, it's not the normal imprisonment. Because if you have ever visited prison, you discover that the case of a death row inmate is different from the case of a convict. You understand? Even the compound where you are kept is different. And when my release came, the commutation of sentence came first. But you are no more a death row inmate, you are now to serve 20 calendar years. But effective from the date of detention. That means that my jail term will start counting from the date I was brought in. I was paying fine for people who cannot pay. You understand? But I was still in prison.
Right in the prison.
Right in the prison. I was giving others money. I was helping them get jobs, even paying house rent.
Right in the prison.
Right in the prison. You can be anything, anywhere. There's no confinement for a man of destiny. That's one thing about life I've learned. But I was still there, and then the Spirit revealed them to me that my time was up, that I was supposed to be there again, but I was still there. Now, how do I get free? The only book that I cherished so much was my Bible. There was this guy, Claudius Lysias, who was to take St. Paul to Caesar. He wrote a petition to Governor Felix. You know, it came upon me that, look, I can't remain here. Even though I don't have a university degree, I can write my complaint and post to the governor. I never knew how to write petitions before, but there was a petition in the Bible. I just addressed my paper to the Minister of Internal Affairs, the Human Rights International, Civil Liberty Organization, addressed it the way he addressed it, then changed the story because I'm not poor now, ended it the way he ended it, and then I began to post. Olisa Abokawa was the first person who responded to it. He was the president of Civil Liberty Organization there. He said, don't worry, I'm coming. This your petition is something that I think is triable. But before he could come to see me, it was actually the hand of God. Abacha arrested him in his 2 million man march campaign there and brought him into that same prison where I was. So you see now, a lawyer and client in one place. But that was actually God's hand. We had time to talk. And he promised me that if he gets out of here, that he will stand for me pro bono. That's all we need to do is to pray. He was afraid of being killed. Abacha was killing. But we went on our knees and prayed. God hears. Abacha died. Odisa became one of the first persons Abdelkarim Abubakar released. I became the first person Odisa Abubakar took his case after his release. And that was how I gained my freedom in 2000 from Uyo prison after spending 16 calendar years in prison.
So you never went to the university?
Interestingly, I've never saw the 4 walls of the university, but now I direct drawing workshop in universities. I do speaking, I direct them, I edit works with university students. In fact, I teach in the university, but I've never seen the 4 walls of the university. What does school and university teach you? It's not about reading.
Yeah,
I've read more books than most lecturers in prison, in the university. But I read those books in my prison cells. At the time, my pillow on that row were books I've read. Sometimes in these days, when churches invite me to speak, after speaking, some pastors will come to me and say, how did you get that in the Bible? I say, it's in your own. So then, in fact, I've read more than 9 versions of the Bible from cover to cover. I've read the Bible in Hebrew. I speak languages most of them cannot speak. All taught me by God on my blanket in the prison yard. As simple as possible.
So, when you were in the prison, were there times that you actually felt like giving up? Did you attempt?
Yes, initially. I remembered when I was in State 13 on death row. There was one night I prayed that God would take my life. You understand? And Jesus appeared to me and told me that if there is anything he can do that the devil cannot do, that it will be to take me out of that place. And I was kind of, what do I do? That's why sometimes today, what I do sometimes amazes some people. He said, look, you don't have to do anything, just trust me. Trusting is all that God needs from you. It's not about giving is good, but you don't give God something to give you the rest. Just trust him. God knows your capability. There is some who say, if it has not pained you, God is not trying to inflict pain on anybody. He doesn't want to shake you beyond what you can. No. Say, trust me, I'll get you out of here. You know, I used to be a very stubborn person. I became stubborn. I was trying to tell God, because there was this thing I met on third row, people who can fast for maybe 40 days. Joke apart, I've seen it. No drinking water, no eating food, no bathing, no brushing.
In the prison?
40 days, yes. Some 50, it was like a competition then. And these were people who can kneel down on their blankets and start praying by 6 in the morning, and by 12 in the afternoon, they're standing in and praying. Frankly, I've seen that. And you see sweat coming out of their body, not watery sweat, thick one, with this color like honey. But amazingly, most of them will do this for years and they will still go to the gallows and be hanged. And that was when, doubt began to come into me. I began to question God on my blanket. Say, God, if these people can fast, suffer like this, and you still allow them to die, were you sleeping when it happened? Otherwise, if you were sleeping when it happened, then how come your Bible says you sleepeth not? And if you sleepeth not, where was it that you have no power to actually do this? Let me tell you something. If it will be the last thing I'll say here, God appeared to me one night. He said I should pick my Bible. I picked it. This was not in dream now, physical. I saw him. He said, pick your Bible. He said, ask those questions that you have doubt over. The moment he said that, everything came back to me. I remembered my doubts. And I said, look, God, didn't you see what is happening here? Didn't you see how people die? And these are prayer warriors. If you would turn your back on them, where is my faith? God gave me an answer that kept me alive up to today. He said, son, nobody died here because he did not pray. Nobody died here because he did not fast. They prayed, I heard. They cried, I heard. They fasted, I heard. The only thing that caused them not to survive here and die is because even after praying and fasting, they never trusted me. Oh my God. I was taken aback. I was like, God, how will trusting take over all these things they did? He said I should open that Bible that he said I should pick. I opened it. He said, go to Hebrews chapter 11. I went to it. He said, start reading from verse 1. By the time I got to verse 6, he said, stop. So what did he say? He said, without faith, it's impossible to please God. Bam, he vanished. You don't question that. Nothing replaces faith in God. From that very day to the next 7 months, all my study in the Bible was about faith. Until I discovered in the book of Romans that you don't pray for faith. No matter how your prayer is, you can't get faith. Faith comes by hearing the word of God. Now by the time I got this, no more. The devil was defeated.
So permit us to go into a little bit of your private life. In all these things that you've mentioned, you never had maybe a woman coming to visit you, being there for you when you were in prison?
No. Women, most of the friends I had, most of the people that stood by me were females.
Okay.
friendly. Even up to date, if you watch, like the last time I was in Brussels, you discover that most of the pictures are females. They have soft spots. You understand? I had a female whom I was actually in love with before I got into prison. She was there for the first 2 years before she stopped coming. And when she stopped coming, some God, will I say God? I think, a lot of people will say that, oh boy, you're fine, but I've not seen how fine I am actually. I don't see that here. I just see myself. Because what is fine is somebody who is suffering. But you discover that female will always come, even in the works I do. Females love them more. I never suffered in prison for one day, frankly. If it's not a wardress, you understand, it's one female from another place. There was a time one drug lady came in to visit me within the company of my immediate elder sister. Immediate elder sister is a nurse. After coming, she started coming to see me more than my sister.
When you got out of prison, did you maybe marry when you came out of prison?
Sir?
When you came out of prison, did you get married or there was no...
Oh, I get married now. What are you talking about? If I didn't get married, how will I have my kids now?
Oh, that's true.
Kids don't fall from heaven. Kids don't fall from heaven.
Okay, so you're married with kids.
Yes, I'm married with kids. Kids don't fall from heaven.
That's really great. So our viewers at home, thank you so very much for watching. And before we go, there's something we usually ask our guests, like, what is your parting statement to the world?
To the world?
Yes.
Trust God. Believe in yourself. Keep struggling. Don't give up. No matter how long it takes, you'll get there. Believe in yourself. Don't ever say no. Only you can stop yourself. There's a lot to say about it. Only you can stop yourself. And the day I was made amnesty chairman in my this thing, I was like, why must I be picked? And there were lawyers there. The lawyers said, look, you are the person to be there. We can't do what you are doing. You understand? So I used to tell, and that's why I minister to people who have despaired and almost given hope up. You understand? And I discovered that the moment they see me and after hearing from me, the whole place is charged. You understand? Don't give up. If you know, some of us think that if we have been at a thing for 2 years, then God is asleep. It's a lie. Some of us think that if you had lasted for 10 years, then it's not interesting again. No! You understand? 10-story building cannot stand on the foundation of a story building. You understand? It takes 10 times the foundation of a story building inside before you can see the DPC of a 10-story building. So just like me, I spent 16 calendar years in prison, and I came out of prison. Frankly, I'm not joking. I've never seen anybody I knew before I entered prison that is better than me today. I've visited in 24 countries of the world. I just came back from Brussels. You understand? Global Coalition is coming to Nigeria here to see me for the first time ever next month. And you discover that, man, I don't pay my flight ticket. I don't pay my hotel bills. You understand? But all these are happening because I endured that time. God has one son on earth without sin, but never one without suffering. Don't stop. Don't give up. Don't say, I surrender.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're
so
welcome.
maybe you like to tell us a little bit about LifeWire Foundation, how they can contact you, people out there, how they can get in touch with you, probably maybe your social media handles.
Sometimes people will ask me your website, but I think I'm bigger than LifeWire. That's what people used to say. Just put any search engine, Arthur, Judah, Angel. It's open. Many people have 10, 2, 3, 4 phone contact details. I have one. 38 15 91 28. That's all.
Once they just type on Google,
everything will appear.
About you would appear. Wow.
You understand? Today, I have like a 3 football field space in Edo State.
Okay.
If I leave here after Ministry of Graces, that's where I'm going back to. I'm trying to build a retreat camp there. It's ongoing. It's just like when I got in there, it was like a jungle. But I saw a beautiful garden, a retreat. And that was why all the boys and girls I took there, the moment they saw that money was like, all of them ran away. But now it's becoming a habitable place. All we lost, God is restoring back. You understand? So, Lifewire International Foundation is all about the less privileged. It's all about the rights of the prison inmates, because in Nigeria here we don't have prisons, we have punitive camps. You understand? It's all about the fight to end capital punishment. I don't stand in gap for people who commit crime, but I am against the opinion of killing. You understand? We have a law that says because of one innocent person, spare 1,000 lives. You understand? It is, look here, the blood of one innocent person cries against a society. Okay, what if my life was not spared? Who will be talking about what I'm talking about now? You understand? So Lifewire International Foundation is neck deep into ending grave abuse, most especially that of the police and the prison. That's why I'm into criminal justice. It wasn't university that taught me, it was trainings around the world that taught me. You understand? We are into the last of the less privileged, and we want to make sure that we build a bridge between the prison and the outside world, so that the issue of recidivism and what do you call it will end. You understand? That's actually what Lifewire International Foundation is all about.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're
It was
welcome.
nice having you on the show, and we are really, really honored to have you on this show.
Thank you very much.
And to all our viewers at home, we want to appreciate you and thank you for watching. Just like you've heard today, there's nothing impossible for God to do. No matter what you're going through in life, learn to trust God. It's just a phase, it's a process. He's able to restore everything that the devil has stolen from you. God is able to restore it. So whatever it is that you're going through, whatever phase of life you find yourself, make sure that your faith doesn't waver from God. He has good plans and purpose for you, and you should learn to hold on to it. Even if you would doubt anybody, don't doubt God, because God is closer than your skin. He's nearer to you than even the closest person to you. So, sir, we have a little gift from the sponsors of this program, which is Supernatural Gospel Crusaders.
Okay.
It's a Christian-based initiative.
Okay.
So we are giving you this hamper on their behalf.
Okay.
This program is powered by SGC TV, that's Supernatural Gospel Crusaders TV.
Okay.
They are the ones that power this program. So this is just a little hamper from them to you, to appreciate you for coming to the program.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. So, till we come your way again next time, this is Share My Pain with V. Remember that your story can change the world. Someone can get healed because of your story. So don't keep quiet about it. Speak out. Share it with us. And this is SGC TV. Keep watching Share My Pain with V. See you next time. Bye.